Hello, this is WildKarrde speaking, and in today's episode of Automation Gaming, I decided to build a car based on a thread that somebody created over at the automationgame.com forums. The thread is for cars that are built only in the 1975 model year, they must run on regular, and they must have a catalytic converter. I thought that was a bit of an interesting premise, so I decided to see what I could do about this. Now, as most of the videos I do in automation now, I've already built the car on my Surface Pro 2, and I'm just going to sort of run through things on my main computer to record it and show you what I did. The reason I do this is to cut out a lot of the back and forth modifications that I make on the car to try to tweak things, as people seem to get a little bored after the 80th time that I've clicked the same exact button. So we set the model year to 1975, and I decided to call this car the Razor. And since it has a catalytic converter, it is the Eco model. And this is the body style I decided to use. This body is not really quite done yet. A lot of the fixtures don't look quite right on it, but it just screams 70s to me, so I'm going to use it anyway. And since this car is hypothetically for production, I'm not going to mess with the quality or anything like that. It is a higher end car though, so it is going to have... it's not going to be cheap, let's just put it that way. Fiberglass, as I mentioned in another video, the prestige is pretty low, but considering what I'm trying to achieve with this car, the low weight is much more beneficial than the prestige. Now, as I mentioned, the fixtures don't quite work, and this car, it needs flip-up headlights. Since I don't have any flip-up headlights here, what I did was went to vents, and I don't remember exactly which one I used, but one of these vents must be this one. Replicates pop-up headlights pretty good on this car. So there you have it, pop-up headlights. Can hardly tell they're there, but they are. I'm going to go ahead and change the color of this car while we're at it. White tends to show the different features a lot better than anything else. As you can see, it just... well, I don't know what's going on with this body type, but it doesn't entirely work. There we go, that's better. So yeah, I'm showing off a little bit of bugs here, but I like the body design, so I'm doing it anyway. Can't see them, but there are turn signals there. Now, since this is going to be a mid-engine car, the best gains you're going to get for cooling is to place vents and that sort of thing towards the back. As you can see, that jumped my total cooling up about 3 times what it was before. I also like to put one of these hood scoops right at the top. It sucks in a lot more air from there. And I don't know if this will work. There we go. I haven't used much of my signature design since the game came out on Steam, so I'll throw those in there. And this isn't going to be a super high-powered car, so I don't think I need more cooling than that. Actually, I do want a little bit more cooling. Gonna put an exit vent on the back here. Don't need it, but it's nice to have. And as I do with a lot of my cars, I like to use a lip instead of a spoiler on the back here. On my prototype, I actually put a spoiler on top of that. It looked pretty cool, but it didn't make a lot of sense for a not low-powered car, but lower-powered car. And of course, gotta badge it. Or not. Guess you can go put a badge in the back. And the trim on this model is the Eco. It's going to be a Traverse rear-wheel drive. And we'll need to create a new engine. I'm now getting to my engine settings on my Surface so that I can save a little bit of time here. The engine I chose was an inline 4-cylinder, aluminum block, and 2 liters exactly. Voila. Dual overhead cam, 5 valves, aluminum head, no VBL. Over here we got forged steel for the crank, I-beam steel for the Conrads, and forged pistons because this engine is going to have a lot of RPMs, and that's the best thing I can do for RPMs. Leave this alone here. And I had to bump the quality up a bit on this. Trying to keep the cost down, but don't want an engine that's going to blow up as soon as you drive away from the lot. This is a turbocharged engine, so the compression is very low. But it's a performance engine, so the cam profile is high. And bump the quality up a little bit here. As I said, the engine is turbocharged. Medium water-air cooling. And a little bump up in quality here. I'm a fan of fuel injection. I am going to be posting my next video with a carbureted engine, but I'm much more familiar with the injection. Regular 91, because I'll go ahead and show you that now. With the regular, I can have a two-way catalytic converter, which is a requirement of the thread I'm submitting this to. But if I go to leaded fuel, which gives me a higher octane, I have no choice for a catalytic converter. It just doesn't work with leaded fuel. So, gotta stick here. Or I could go low quality, but again, the thread requires regular fuel, so even if I wanted to go low quality, technically I'm not able to. And I usually have my ignition all the way up on my cars. Not always required, sometimes you have to mess with it a little bit. And a little bump in quality again, just to get the performance I need to make this car work the way I want it to. And no requirement for loudness, so this thing's going to be loud. Now if everything transfers over the way it should, I should have about 230 horsepower. And I don't, so something's wrong. I bet I know what it is. I think I forgot to... Yep. Mufflers, or the exhaust is supposed to be 2.5. So that gets me pretty close. That's killing my turbo, so I better turn that down. So there's my 231 horsepower. This is the 2.0 liter Eco i4, and it is the turbo variant. So now to set up the rest of the car. Of course we want manual transmission, that just makes sense for a sports car. And apparently my Surface Pro didn't save any of this information, so I am going to start from scratch here. Hopefully it doesn't take me too long to get the performance back to where it should be. 5 speeds, top speed of 140, yeah, we'll go with 149 for now. It's probably going to be higher than that. Looking for sportiness again, the viscous LCD is the most sporty that we got there. And sport compound tires. Usually have to drop down the diameter a bit to get more thickness. and thickness is the way you get traction, as well as the rim offset. The further out the tires are from the center of your car, the more traction you should have. We'll go with these wheels. And I always forget to do this, but you need to select the rim material, otherwise you can't move on. Vented 3-piston discs, solid 3-piston, make it as big as you can, and then drop this one down just a little bit. This is a performance car, so let's boost up the pad type a bit. Fully clad. Now, one thing about this cooling airflow here, I like to have brake airflow to reduce brake fade. But a lot of times you don't need all this airflow. As you can see, my required cooling is 191.5 kilojoules. I've got 313, so I can drop this down quite a bit and it'll greatly improve my performance as well as fuel mileage. Because sadly, cooling is resistance. And the more resistance you have, the harder you have to fight to compensate for it. Two-seater, of course, sports car. I'll give you an 8-track. Entertainment is the car itself, but you might want to listen to some tunes as you're driving along. And standard safety. This car is going to be expensive, so you want to keep the driver safe when he probably wrecks it, because let's face it, most drivers aren't as good as the car they're in when they have a car like this. But not going to go overboard because I do want to keep it a little bit more affordable. This looks like the best suspension for this car, and it is a sports car, so we'll start out with Sport preset. And 19.2 miles per gallon, a little low, very low acceleration, decent top speed, especially for 1975, but we're going to have to work on that. Actually dropped the top speed, so we'll put this down again. And you know, now that I think about it, I think I had to use semi-slicks to get the performance I wanted out of this car. That's looking pretty close to what I had. I think I bumped this up a little bit. Oh, there we go. And I had the sportiness around 30 and the drivability around 40. Let's see if I can replicate that. is the highest I can go with that. Oh, losing sportiness. Gotta go back. Drivability is important with this car, it's important with every car, but this particular car, sportiness, is what I'm focusing on. And since I have a little bit of extra drivability, I'm going to boost up that sportiness. These numbers over here are just awesome. Before the Steam version came out, we didn't have all this. We had to adjust everything, go back over here, click start, it would test it, and then we'd have to go back here, figure out what we could change to try to improve, go back there, test, come back here, go back there, come back here, go back there. It was much more complicated than this. So I am quite satisfied with the new UI. And things are looking good now. I like the airfield test track, so we're going to go ahead and give it a run on that. See how well it's doing. I should get a total time of about 1:34:53. It's not bad, especially for a car from 1975. This were a real car on the Top Gear test track, airfield test track, can't call it Top Gear. If this were a real car on the airfield test track, it would be performing similar to, let's see, 134. It would be performing similar to a Jaguar XKR in melted snow, a Ford Focus ST in the wet, or a Ford Mondeo. Kind of disappointing. But hey, these are all new cars that I'm comparing it to. This is a car built in 1975, theoretically. So not too bad, if you ask me. Even today, an acceleration time of 6.5 seconds isn't too shabby. And top speed of 146.6, that's faster than most people will ever go. So I would call the car a success. The design is pretty good. Not all of the fixtures are working right now, as I said, but not bad. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up and submit it to the forum. Hope you enjoyed it, and have a great day.